Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to March 19th, 2019 Sports Talk Show. Say what you need to say. Hope everybody's having a good start of their week. I know I am. And tonight we got two topics tonight that we're going to discuss. We're going to discuss some little March Madness that's going to be starting in about 2 days. Also, we're going to hit on the main man, Mike Trout, who just signed a whopping contract. I'm not going to give you the details of that just yet, but he's going to be taken care of for quite some time. And also, we got two callers that was on the line last week on the show, and they left some comments and said that they wanted to call back in and say what they need to say for another week. Hey, I'm glad these two guys are back because we had some firm, fair discussions last week about some things. And Mr. Warwick Henry out of Phoenix City, Alabama, are you on the line with us?
Yes, Kieran, I'm here.
All right. And we got our second caller, Mr. Ed Times out of Columbus, Georgia. Are you on the line with us?
Yes, sir, Mr. Henry, I'm here.
All right, man. Hey, we got two great topics tonight, fellas, that we're going to be discussing. Keep it clean. But I want you guys to say what you need to say about these topics because these two topics are some of the main two topics that's going on in the world today. March Madness 2019 NCAA tournament starts in 2 days and features one of the most memorable March Madness brackets in recent history. Now, I follow basketball, but I don't follow it really tight. Mr. Henry, do you follow basketball much?
I do keep up with college basketball just a little bit, just enough to keep you on your toes.
Just keep you on your toes. How about you, Mr. Times?
Yes, I do follow it. I'm not a nightly viewer, but when it comes to March Madness, I'm all in.
Nice. Hey, I want to ask you two guys, since you guys probably know a little bit more basketball than myself, they tend to use an advanced computer module now that kind of picks the brackets and everything. With this new technology out there today, man, that's some serious stuff. What do you guys think about them using an advanced computer module to pick brackets besides going with the old school way that they used to do, probably by just taking a wild guess? You think this computer model is pretty accurate? Go with Mr. Henry.
I think it has some. It adds some validity to it, but to me, I'm old school, so I still think the eye test, the eyes don't lie, and I really prefer the old way, but I definitely understand the new way that they're doing it, not to say that I necessarily care for it.
Oh, you really don't care for it, huh, Mr. Henry? What about you, Mr. Times? What do you think about this advanced computer model that they use to pick these brackets these days?
Well, I kind of agree with Mr. Henry. While analytics and, you look at statistics, I'm a math science guy, and when you look at statistics, it's solid. But I'm of the old school. I just like viewing games and going with the heart and picking a team that I think is going to win. But there is something to be said about looking at the mathematics of things, and
I agree.
Computer modules are usually pretty sound.
Well, I'm gonna kind of lean towards Mr. Henry's theory. The eyes are, you see more with the eyes, and I will go with my eyes as well because there is a thing that that's out there now that can really dampen this computer model stuff, and it's called having a bracket buster because a computer can say, by using the numbers, hey, we think these teams going to win, this team's going to win, this team's going to win. But there are things called upsets. Am I right or wrong? Mr. Henry?
Oh, absolutely. There's always the human factor. And that's not something that can be quantified in analytics. That's why I'm a big, I need to see these teams play and know what they're about.
Right.
Because anybody can beat anybody on just about any given day at that level.
Right.
So, we can get back to, to Duke Duke North Carolina games that they played this year.
Well,
on paper it's one thing, but on the court, North Carolina really shouldn't be able to play with Duke, but they're able to do it.
well, you know what? I'm gonna throw this question over to the mathematician, Mr. Ed Times, and Mr. Times, there are bracket busters, there are upsets, and mathematics is a universal language, and mathematics is always right when you're using the right equation. But I really feel sometimes I'm with Mr. Henry on this one, and a lot of times the number 1 seed can get upset by number 10, number 20. It doesn't matter. And in any given game, anything can happen. But Mr. Times, you still kind of lean towards the advanced computer model of how they, come up with the March Madness brackets and everything still?
Well, as I was saying, personally, I got a bracket before me that I'm going to prepare. I'm getting some hints from my son. He's more into it than I am.
Okay.
But I'll just go back to just a few years ago. Duke was beaten soundly. Well, they were beaten by Mercer, who was not supposed to be in the ball game, and mathematics wouldn't have allowed that. But what I'm saying, in the long run, if you look at analytics and you look at statistics,
okay,
and you do the math, that usually will ring out solid over just taking a hard pick on an upset. But upsets are going to happen. They have happened in the past, and they're going to happen this year.
I understand. Great point. But I'm going to come up with some stats and everything for this 2019 NCAA tournament. The ACC has become just the second conference ever to have 3 number 1 seeds. You got Duke, Virginia, and North Carolina. They all can't claim the top spot in their regions. But Duke is the overall number 1 seed in the entire NCAA tournament for the 14th time and first in 4 years. So, that goes back to saying, you got 3 number 1 seeds. Who knows who's gonna upset them, and they might not get upset. Now, that advanced computer model is talking about the Golden Eagles playing the number 5 Marquette. The model says that you should back number 5 Marquette. Mr. Henry, what do you think about the model saying that Marquette is gonna beat the Golden Eagles, who actually bounced back from a tough end of a season, and they had a 24-9 season and turned some heads? So what do you think about that model saying that you should pick Marquette over the Golden Eagles? Mr. Henry?
Well, again, back to, I hate to be redundant, but
Mr. Henry, say what you need to say.
You have to play the game.
Say what you need to say. Don't be redundant. Don't be hesitant. You say what the listeners need to hear you say.
No, I mean, Marquette is a good team.
Okay.
But, I mean, and I think according to analytics, there's something like, they have like a 58% chance to win that game.
Okay.
But, so I have to go with them. They're established. It's a program that's been around for years and years. It's not their first rodeo. So, I have to run this.
Okay. Mr. Times, Mr. Mathematical genius over there. What are your thoughts on that call by the computer model?
Well, you're talking Marquette Merced. I looked at that matchup on my work pool, and I took the hint from my son, who watches nightly, and we picked Murray State over Marquette as an upset, you might say. You got a 5 seed there and a 12, but at some point you got to go with some upsets. There are going to be some upsets.
Okay.
And that's one of my upset picks.
Well, Mr. Times,
Marquette is a fine program. They are a fine program.
I can agree with you somewhat on that, but I do have some predictions that the model has predicted. In the East region, it's predicting UCF over VCU. In the South region, it's predicting Oregon over Wisconsin. In the Midwest region, it's predicting Seton Hall over Wofford. And going back to what you just said, Mr. Times, in the West region, it's predicting Murray State over Marquette. So you obviously might have some kind of inside information on us listeners out here, do you?
I'm playing the stats. I'm just looking at the stats.
Okay.
We've done some research on it. I've done my homework. I'm a teacher, so we do homework.
Hold up, Mr. Times. Hey, Mr. Henry, don't laugh too hard at it. Mr. Times, being a teacher and picking a Final Four bracket or Sweet 16, that doesn't correlate, sir. And I'm going to say what I want to say to you now. You being a math man, 1 + 1 is 2, right? Mr. Times?
That is correct.
That's correct. Okay. Now, it doesn't take no genius to figure out 1 + 1 is 2, correct? So I want you to leave that teacher stuff out on the side for right now. We talking basketball. We talking March Madness right now. But you do pick Murray State to go over Marquette, correct?
I'm picking Murray State over Marquette. As I was saying, if you look at the numbers, that might be a bad pick, but I just got a gut. Sometimes you got to go with that gut feeling.
Oh,
you just got to go with the gut feeling from time to time.
So the gut feeling is overriding the mathematical equation right now, right?
Exactly. In this case.
Okay.
In this case.
Okay, Mr. Henry, what are you going to go? Are you going to go with your gut, or are you going to go with some advanced computer module?
I'm going math. And I'm just straight up knowledge of some of the teams that I've seen play. Of course, with a field of 64, it's hard to catch a whole lot of these teams. So, like Mr. Time said, a lot of them, you just have to go with your gut.
Right.
But for the most part, I always go with what my eyes tell me. I'm not a mathematical genius like Mr. Times is, but I hold my own. I put my gut up against his analytics any day.
Well, you know what, Mr. Henry? It seems like you two guys would be a great match for maybe a possible side bet. I mean, maybe a 6-pack of sodas or a bag of chips or something like that, because that'll be very interesting to see which one of you guys prevail. But we're going to talk about the Final Four predictions that this upcoming 2019 March Madness model has picked. It has picked Duke and Gonzaga and Tennessee and North Carolina. Do you guys agree with that for the Final Four?
I'm close to that. I have in my Final Four.
Okay.
Duke, Florida State. I picked Duke, Florida State,
okay,
and Virginia versus North Carolina in the Final Four.
Who you got, Mr. Henry?
That's my Final Four.
Okay. Who you got, Mr. Henry?
That's your Final Four, Mr. Times.
Yes, sir.
I actually got. Now it was tough. It was tough for me, but and the toughest thing for me was the 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna say I want to pick Kentucky.
Really?
Coming out of the Midwest. Yes, I really want to pick Kentucky over North Carolina. And that one. And I think that's but yeah, I think I'm gonna take Kentucky. Even though everybody has like you said, Gary, Duke has the overall #1 and basically winning this thing.
Okay.
I'm not even picking Duke to win this thing.
Wow.
I'm gonna tell you this. The winner of this tournament is coming out of the Midwest.
Okay then.
And it was either going to be, and I know that you asked you a question, but it's either going to be Duke, it's either going to be UK, Kentucky, or North Carolina. That's going to be the winner of the whole tournament.
Well, Mr. Henry, hey, you have your options to choose. Other people have their options. Mr. Time have their options. I got my options. But I think that you're probably going to get some comments on Facebook that's going to beg to differ with your choices, because going back to this Duke team, you're not forgetting about this Mr. Zion Williamson, are you, Mr. Henry?
Oh, Oh, absolutely. I'm not forgetting about Zion. The thing is that when you look at North Carolina and Duke has played maybe 3 or 4 times this year. I know the first time they played is when Zion blew out his shoe and hurt his knee. And North Carolina beat him pretty soundly that game.
Right.
Came back a week or so later, and North Carolina beat him again.
Okay.
Then Duke just beat North Carolina in the ACC championship game. But the deal was Zion Williamson he was something like 13 for 13 from the field, didn't miss all night. He was perfect.
Wow.
And they still barely beat North Carolina.
Okay.
So that's why, that's where I am with that.
Mr. Times, do you think Zion Williams is the difference maker for Duke to get to the Final Four and win this NCAA tournament?
Well, Mr. England, the proof is in the pudding. Without him, they lost to North Carolina twice, back to back.
I hear you.
With them, they lost. Be it by 1 point or 15, they won that last game. He is an incredible athlete for a big man. The way he moves and his athleticism for a big man it's LeBron-like, if I might say so. It's incredible.
And you know what? Speaking on that, the type of player he is, he's 6'7", 285 pounds, man, of force on that court. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and go back to the incident that happened with this kid a little while ago. And, of course, we all know the Nike shoe ripped on him on a play. Now, this could have gotten really ugly. First of all, for the kid, if he would have injured himself to where he's not able to finish his college playing days and also pursue a future in the NBA. But, you know, that was really shocking to me for this type of caliber player to have one of the universe's best shoe on, and they simply just ripped to pieces. Mr. Henry, I mean, when you saw that happen on video on TV, I mean, what were your thoughts about the shoe and what kind of backlash Nike was going to face for that?
Well, actually, I didn't think that Nike was going to face any backlash. Turns out I was wrong. Even their stock took a hit behind that. But, you know, things happen. You got a freakish athlete that, I mean, like you said, as big as he is, moves like he does, as quick as he is.
Yeah.
I kind of would have thought that Nike would have come up with a better shoe for him.
Right.
But from what I understood from everything I read, Zion, you know, people are a creature of habits. And those major college basketball teams, they get as many pair of shoes as they want. Right. They can wear a different pair every night. Right. It turns out that what they said was he wore those shoes multiple times.
Yep.
And so I guess because he was broken in, and, you know, after a while, kid that big, I mean, yeah, something's got to give. It turns out it was the shoes.
You're right. Mr. Times, what are your thoughts on him and him with his size and his power and his shoe gives out on what? Mr. Times, let me ask you this. What if that kid would have sustained a serious injury? What do you think the outcome would have been?
Well, you know, the shoe incident was just really remarkable. You know, Nike being a top-notch company, I would venture to say that there are some engineers that's probably being shown the door. There's just no excuse for this.
I got you.
You know, that just should not happen. You know, that the quality control of these products when they're making them for these kind of athletes, that was right there in living color. That was an eyesore for Nike.
Yeah.
I'm sure Phil Knight will correct that. But I was just really shocked by a shoe failing like that, just on a move by an athlete. I just couldn't understand how that could happen.
I can agree with you totally. And you know, this kid is destined to be an NBA star player soon. I'm pretty sure he's going to be the #1 player chosen. And you know, it was a talk about whether he should stop playing and pack it up and get ready for the NBA, or whether he should play. I was listening to TNT where Charles Barkley, Shaq, and some of the other guys was talking about this, and from what I gather, what they were saying, they said he should keep playing, even though he could sustain an injury that could kill his NBA career. But then again, this guy's finna come into lifetime-altering money and endorsements. Mr. Times, what do you think? You think the kid should just sit out, or you think the kid should continue playing?
Well, you got to continue playing. Okay. Athletics, sports, there's always a chance of injury. That's just part of the game. I'm sure he has the best medical professionals in his camp.
Right.
They've okayed him to get back on the court. You got to play. If they've okayed him to play, he's got to go out and compete. That's just part of the game.
Mr. Henry, what are your thoughts? You think he should play or sit out and get ready for this huge payday, or what do you think he should do?
I think he should do exactly what he did. Like I said, nobody wants to see anything bad happen to that kid. And all these people these professional announcers, ex-athletes, ex-NBA players, probably to a man, they all said that, well, if it was me, I'd be sitting down.
Right.
But that says something about that kid's character, that he knows that he's still going to make some money.
Right.
Whether he was hurt or not. Trust me, he was still going to be top 5.
Absolutely.
And that just says something about him, as a young man, as a player. It's something that you rarely see today. People or athletes putting teams above dollar signs.
Absolutely.
So I think he did exactly the right thing.
And you know what else too? When he did this, he gained some serious respect from those NBA players and the veterans in the NBA, because if he would have sat out and he go in there, they would have been on him like white on rice. But I think he made the correct decision as well. But hopefully this kid gets a better shoe next time, which I'm pretty sure he's probably going to wear a new pair of shoes on the court every night now since that happened. But like you say, hey, that kid probably felt comfortable in those shoes, and he decided to just play. And it just was a freak accident by the shoe messing up. But anyway, go ahead.
Put a little crazy glue in his backpack as well. That might be something.
Mr. Times, you really said what you wanted to say, but I doubt that Nike go put some super glue on the bottom of that shoe and let him keep going. They're not going to do that, but I appreciate your insight, sir. Going on to our next topic for tonight, which is the biggest topic that hit the airwaves today. We're going to talk about this one baseball player with the Anaheim Angels, Mr. Mike Trout. Wow. This guy just broke the bank. Give you some stats on what I'm referring to. Mike Trout is trying to finalize a 12-year, $430 million deal that would take him to 38 years old. He's 27 years old now. Now, he has 2 MVPs. He won MVP in 2014, 2016, and he also finished second in MVP voting 4 times. This would equate to $36 million a year, compared to the Diamondbacks' Greinke, a pitcher who's making $34 million. Hey man, this is some life-altering money. Mr. Henry, I remember we spoke last week on the show, and I think you got some baseball in your blood. What do you think about Mike Trout signing a 12-year, $430 million deal?
First of all, hey, good for him. Because some people can say, well, that's too much money. Ain't nobody worth that kind of money. You worth what anybody will pay you.
Absolutely.
And if you look at the money that, let's say, Stanton's making in New York, what Bryce Harper just signed for, and Machado just signed for, he's a heck of a lot better player than those two.
I agree.
A heck of a lot. So and plus he's only, 26, 27?
27 years old.
Yeah, and so I think that Bryce Harper, he and Bryce Harper must be really good friends. Because the only thing Bryce Harper was doing, he was saying that he was going to recruit him, Mike Trout, when he became a free agent, to Philadelphia. The only thing he was doing was driving up the price for Mike Trout, so Mike Trout was loving it.
Oh, yeah.
And And so, which is why the California Angels contacted Major League Baseball and said, "Could you please tell Bryce Harper to stop talking about Mike Trout?"
I saw
guess
that.
he was just making his price tag was getting higher and higher.
Absolutely.
So that dude is definitely worth every bit plus some. He's worth that $400 million.
I understand. And Mr. Times, 12-year, $430 million deal at 27 years old. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, understand, I'm going to have to disagree.
Really?
Somewhat with Mr. Henry on in that point he just made. He stated that a person is worth whatever they can get paid. I see that point. However, here's what I want to say, what I need to say here.
Say it.
You're talking $36 million a year. In 1972, Hank Aaron was the highest paid player in baseball at a measly $200,000 a year. And he hit 715 home runs. This is the biggest record in baseball.
Correct.
So my point is this. As a fan, the average fan can maybe afford to go to one baseball game a year. It's going to cost a family like myself, my wife, and son, $300, $400, $500 to go to one game.
Hold on. Wait, Mr. Time.
I'm just saying. Let me say what I need to say.
Say it.
I'm saying, where does it end? How much money does a player need? The fans at some point can't basically afford to go and see a baseball game because of the salaries that these players are making. I think it's getting absurd. I just think the salaries are getting too much out of control.
Well, let me respond to your comment. Now, you have a right to say what you need to say, but I'm going to say what I need to say right now. And I'm on the side of Mr. Henry right now. Me being a former baseball player as well, at the major league level. You know what, Mr. Times? If fans don't sit in those seats, the players can't get paid, correct?
That is correct. I totally agree.
Okay, so obviously a lot of people feel that once Mike Trout has signed that deal that there's going to be more fans in those seats to come see this guy play, correct?
They're evidently thinking that, but my point is that you, at some point, you're pricing people out of the sport when you're paying those counts, when you have that type of payroll.
Well, I can understand.
The average person can basically afford to go to a game.
I can understand your point in that sense, but I'm going to go back to the point when you said in 1970, whatever year you said when Hank Aaron was playing? 72. That was almost 50 years ago, okay? And if you recall, $200,000 back then was equivalent to what now, Mr. Mathematician?
It's not equivalent to $36 million. I promise you that. I've done the math. Remember, I'm a math guy. That is 0.55% of what Hank made in 72.
Absolutely, but see, you compare apple to oranges. That's just like saying that Babe Ruth couldn't hit the pitchers today throwing 98, 99, 100 miles an hour. You comparing apple to oranges. So I'm just going to go ahead and get to the point. And I got some stats that might sway your thought process the other way, because this guy, Mike Trout, to me, he's the only 5'2" guy in the major leagues right now that is doing it on a daily basis. Listen to these stats. He has the greatest stats to a career in MLB baseball. He has a 1,065 games. He has a 307 average, 240 home runs, 648 RBIs, 793 runs scored, 189 stolen bases. Now, no player in history of the MLB has put up more wins above replacements through his age of 26 in a season than Trout's 64.3. Okay? Are these numbers calculating in your mind right now, Mr. Times?
I understand the numbers are calculating in my mind, but let me make this quick point.
Go ahead.
Here's the point I want to make.
Go ahead.
He is a great baseball player. No debate on that. But my point is, what can he not buy if he was making, let's say, $25 million, $20 million that he needs to buy for $35 million? I'm saying these salaries are just getting so far-fetched, so much out there in the galaxy that it's making it difficult for the average fan that has a son, a daughter that might want to go to a baseball game with the tickets, $12, $15 drinks, a beer, a $12 hot dog. They can't go see a game because of the economy of the game.
Well,
I think it's going too far.
Mr. Henry, can you say something to that?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that part. With that part of the economics of the game that Eric's talking about. I mean, he's definitely telling the truth as far as that's concerned.
That's my only concern.
So I can definitely understand that from a consumer standpoint, but understand that whereas we as fans, we share some of the burden of that cost, that $400 million that Trout is going to make. Just understand that these baseball teams, like the Atlanta Braves, the New York Yankees,
right,
and apparently the California Angels, the Los Angeles Dodgers, they have local contracts, local TV contracts.
There you go.
That they sign, and that's where more than a majority of the money comes from. Turns out that the Angels just signed it was either $3 or $30 billion contract with their local people out there to carry their baseball game.
Absolutely.
So they have the money.
There you go.
Trust me, they have the money. And if they get that kind of money, they have to spend it. My deal is you just kind of hope that a team like the Angels, who hasn't been to the playoffs since 2009.
Right.
And mind you, they gave Albert Pujols a 10-year contract. He was age 32.
Absolutely.
He still got 2 more years, and his numbers are like dropping like, a box of rocks. So, it's kind of, I'll tell you what I would do.
Tell us.
I would give him $50 million for 8 years.
Give who?
Wow.
Give who $50 million for 8 years?
Well,
Mike Trout?
Mike Trout.
Wait, Mr. Henry.
Yeah.
Please tell us.
No, I'm telling you, because in 8 years, he'll be what?
30. He'll be
36.
36, correct? Mr. Henry.
Yeah, he's right. $36 million times 12 years.
Let me jump in here before you guys both fall off that rock or whatever y'all on over there. And I'm about to say again what I need to say. You just brought up a point. Pujols signed a 10-year, $240 million. Also, they gave Josh Hamilton a 5-year, $125 million contract. That didn't work out for them. But I'm going to say this, and you guys listen carefully. In professional sports, you get paid for your production, correct?
I'll say that again. I didn't understand.
In professional sports, you get paid for your production. You don't get paid because you look good in your uniform. You don't get paid because you went in the first round. You get paid for your production. Now, I'm going to bring up these other 2 contracts.
Correct.
You have the Manny Machado for $300 million 10-year, and you have the Bryce Harper for $330 million, whatever it was, 10, 12 years. Now, this player, Mike Trout, is better than both of those guys put together, in my humble opinion, because I'm going to say what I need to say. And the reason why I say that, Mike Trout hits for average, he hits for power, he's a Gold Glove center fielder, he steals bases, and he drives in runs. You cannot name right now a player. Give me 2 other players right now that are 5'2" at the age of 27 years old that has done what he's done in that short amount of time. The clock is ticking.
No, you can't.
I can't either. I can't. You are 100% correct. But one thing I want to say, I need to say on this topic, it's a great topic, and you may disagree with this up front, but in my career, a veteran career, you could be the best educator in the world and have your students mastering standardized tests.
Okay.
At 30, 40 years of experience, and that teacher is going to max out maybe at best at 75, 80,000.
Okay.
Compared to 36 million with maybe almost a PhD. There's something to be said for athletes making $36 million a year and people who mold the future making pennies on the dollar compared to that. That is my concern.
Mr. Times, hey, you got a legitimate concern, and I'm going to let Mr. Henry chirp in a second, but, you know, that's going to be a topic for another time and date on this show. But as of right now, you got a very legitimate point, but we're talking about baseball, the time that it's in now. These teams are making astronomical numbers of money, and the player is the one that put the money in the owner's pocket. And I can't stress enough that this kid, Mike Trout, I had made a prediction that he had 2 more years left on his contract. And if he hit the free agent market, I had predicted the Yankees giving him $400 million. But obviously the Angels have proven me wrong. But this kid is worth every penny of this 12-year, $430 million deal because of what he's done on a daily basis on a major league club every day for the Anaheim Angels. I'm going to let you guys make one more valid point about these two.
I want to hear what Mr. Henry has to say. Don't get me wrong. I agree with Mr. Trout. Get all you can get. I'm not blaming him. I'm not hating on him at all. I'm just saying that my concern is for the average Joe,
right?
He a fan can barely go to a game. That's my only bit. I have no problem with Mr. Trout. If he's worth that and he can make that kind of money, make it.
Hey, he don't have any problem with us either. I wouldn't have no problem with neither one of us either if I was making $36 million a year. But Mr. Henry, I'm going to let you close the show out with your comments about Mr. Trout and what you think is going to happen and how you think he's going to end up after this contract.
Well, I think that he'll wind up with better numbers than Albert Pujols. I can tell you that.
Correct.
That's called almost a given because he's such a freakish athlete.
Right.
But I'm not a fan of the 10-year contract. I mean, that's crazy, which is why not a whole lot of teams give out. They don't give them out like they're giving away $100 million contracts. Everybody's making $100 million these days.
Right.
But not everybody is making, $200, $300, $400 million. So these Major League Baseball teams aren't just handing them out like you're handing out candy.
Right.
You have to be pretty strategic because you can strap your team financially for years and years to come. If you could almost be like Texas was when they gave A-Rod his first $250 million contract. Well, you know what? They couldn't win because they couldn't afford to sign anybody else.
Absolutely.
So the Yankees like, we'll take it. And that's fine. But there is something to be said about what Mr. Times, what his concern is that, we as consumers, we have to factor in that somewhere.
Gotcha. I understand.
And it's not like let's say like at the Atlanta Falcons game where you can go get a hot dog and a beer for $1 a piece. Which is a business model that other teams in the Falcons actually made money on concessions. And now other teams are starting to model that deal, so you won't have to, like Mr. Ty said, $12 for a beer or $8 for a bottle of water.
Well,
so you can have a family of 4 or 5 go to the game and not have to break the bank to do it.
Well, hey, you know what? I'm gonna say this. Like I say, that baseball is a lucrative sport. It's America's pastime, and when you're selling out stadiums of 50,000 to 70,000 a night, they're making a boatload of money, not including all the other stuff. I know for a fact that some major league stadiums on a full night, they can make $1 million off the concession food only. That's not counting some souvenir shops, parking, and all those other things. So money is there to be made, because if they didn't have the money, they wouldn't pay the players. Hey, fellas, you guys were unbelievable tonight. We discussed some March Madness that's going to start in 2 days, and we also discussed the big-time contract for Mike Trout, a 12-year, $430 million deal, and you guys were on it again. Mr. Henry out of Phoenix City, Alabama, Mr. Ed Times out of Columbus, Georgia. We appreciate you being on Say What You Need to Say Sports Talk Show, and hopefully you guys call in again. Like I say, leave your comments, leave an email contact or a phone number contact, or you can message me at GaryIngram@yahoo.com to get yourself on this show to say what you need to say, just like these two gentlemen said what they needed to say tonight. And, you know, it was a great show. Mr. Henry, Mr. Times, I appreciate you guys, and I'll talk to you guys down the road again.
Enjoy it, Mr. Ingram.
Thank you, Gary.
Yes, sir. Have a good one. Ladies and gentlemen, hey, great show tonight. Got a little long-winded, but when you're talking about March Madness that is going to be on fire in 2 days, then we talking about this big contract Mike Trout signed. Hey, you got to let some people get out and say what they need to say. And then again, don't forget, go to YouTube, subscribe, leave your comments, hit the like button, go to Facebook, leave your comments on any topics that you want to discuss on the show, and I would definitely be happy to get you on the show. Once again, thanks for joining us tonight, 2019, March the 19th, Say What You Need to Say Sports Talk Show. We'll see you next week. Have a good one.